Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crash Cinnamon. This is your host, McKenna. Today's episode is quite special in the fact that we are celebrating Women's Day, International Women's Day. Yay! And being a woman, obviously, I couldn't let this day pass by. And also, it's significant because it's 30 years since the adoption of the Beijing Declaration, the famous conference that happened in 1995 in Beijing, which actually saw the advancement of women's rights, girls' rights, and equality, and in turn actually safeguarded a lot of rights for boys too. So it's quite significant, and I'm passionate about women's rights, girls' rights, and just equality because we've come far, but we're still decades behind in terms of representation in our parliaments and places of power across the world, in terms of economy, in terms of eradication of poverty for women and girls. And that has a knock-on effect in our communities because if women are poor, then they don't have access to the finances and the being able to feed their family, and it creates a generation of those who are, socially, economically in the lower bracket. So, and then the knock-on effects of low income could create, all kinds of things from, lack of education to increase in crime to all kinds. And that's how our society is affected. And yeah, I need people to understand that when we talk about inequality for women, it's inequality for all because their society is affected in a very huge way. And this year I'm quite excited because thanks to UN Women UK, I'm going to be volunteering with them and I'm going to be a participant for the Commission of the Status of Women conference that happens in New York every year in March for 2 weeks. And it's really a time for people who work in the civil society, NGOs, the UN, various government bodies, to come together to really discuss about the rights of women and girls and how we can advance that. So that's starting next week. I'm looking forward to it, and exciting events that I've scheduled to attend and go and just meet other people who have like-minded to fight this ongoing fight that has been going on since dawn of time, basically, because let's face it, we are living in very precarious moments. There's wars, conflict every time, and actually, unfortunately, whenever there's conflict, the ones who bear the bigger burden is usually women and girls, from insecurity to being displaced to, unfortunately, abuse physically and sexually. There's lots of dangers that come with this. So and now, even with the way the world is changing, this climate issues, for example, it's just unfortunate what we've been seeing in the world right now across the globe, whether it's in the global south or the global north. The issues are the same. However, how they're handled is quite different. So yes, it might feel a little bit grim in terms of, there are things we've gone back on, but there are things we've advanced a lot. And also it's exciting with technology and AI and what that can bring to the advancement of women's rights and girls as well. But I think on a very personal level, being a woman is phenomenal. Being able to move in this world in my feminine energy and femininity is amazing. It's brilliant. Obviously, it brings with it its own challenges. However, it's amazing, and especially now for those new listeners who've joined on the pod, and welcome to our new listeners across the world. For those who don't know, I'm a mom and a mother of 2 children, and being able to actually carry life and see it come to fruition is amazing. It's brilliant, and there's so many things about to celebrate about being a woman. And though I have to say sometimes it can feel very overbearing when we have such days to celebrate women. But yeah, any time to celebrate us is a good time. It's a good time, ladies, to those whoever is listening, to celebrate who you are as a woman. And I am grateful for the men who are allies, who support the fight to see the equality of women, especially now with even maternity rates. We're losing a lot of women because of childbirth, and it's really unfortunate. And especially the disparity of healthcare across the world is alarming, and access to it as well. And that is one of the things that I'm really passionate about, raising awareness about maternity rate, and the dangers that come with actually giving birth and going through this whole process. And we saw what happened during COVID. A lot of women who were pregnant really got affected. And yeah, there's a lot to be concerned about, but there's also a lot to celebrate and see. Look at the advancement of women in politics. We're seeing a lot more people, girls, in driving the force for change, whether it's climate justice or literally anything to do with the rights of the girls. Think of people like Malala, and just amazing, even in their arts field, to see so many women who are now not only actors, they're directors, they're producers. They are very in every sphere. Still very male dominated, but still we can see glimpses of hope, whether it's in the fashion industry, in STEM. Women in STEM have it's increased. It's stopped being a very closed club situation. There's so much to actually celebrate in terms of even leadership. We can see more women who are very vocal. I mean, one of the most phenomenal thing we saw was that famous haka that was done in Parliament in New Zealand this year, actually that last year, sorry, and how powerful that was, and that has really stuck with me with that. And moving forward, I just want to say for the women, stay strong. There's lots to keep us down, but there's a lot more to celebrate. There's lots to come together and celebrate and really dance and enjoy. And let's lift each other as women. Let's walk this path. You can't succeed if another woman is falling. And I'm not saying you have to carry them on your bare back kind of thing if they don't want to go. And this is very important. I'm not saying, you have to break your back really for other women in that sense of, carrying them where you're going. But in terms of advancement, really, if you're going to be at the table, make sure another woman is there. Let's open doors for women across the world, and for the men who have the places of influence, who have the resources. If you elevate a woman, you elevate a whole village. We talked about reimagining the village in the last episode, and this is another way of actually reimagining the villages, ensuring the women are key strategic places. When we're creating policy for women, let us be really mindful. Let us consider them. Let's not just make decisions and no woman was consulted when we're thinking of policies, even for planning of cities, of places. Let's be mindful of women. How are they going to move, what safety measures and things like that. The other day when I was thinking about how bars and restaurants are made, do they have this concept, there'll be, is it accessible, is it safe for women to be in them? Like, I remember the days I used to go out. Actually, most clubs you'd have to go really down, like in a dungeon or basement, and actually most of them didn't have like good reception or cell network, so that meant if anything happened to you, you wouldn't be contactable for a while. And it's just, then I was I was young and, I would say, foolish but naive, not to really think about all those things and those are the things we need to educate each other as women, and those of us who are parents or guardians, who are raising girls as well, and even fathers as well. This is something to think about. So yeah, I just want to celebrate all you women, all you phenomenal women doing amazing things, whether it's traveling across the world, doing solo travels, or creating businesses, or doing amazing things, or just being here, being present, doing everything you need to do to live out your very authentic life. So yeah, happy Women's Day. Thank you very much for listening to this episode, and I'll see you on the very next episode of Crash Cinema. Thank you.